Welcome back. The coronavirus pandemic continues to reshape the college admissions process. This week, the College Board announced it's going to do away with its SAT subject tests and scrap the optional essay portion of the college entrance exam. In the past few months, about 1,600 colleges have announced they're waiving standardized test scores from their admissions process, including the University of California. Joining us now is the College Board CEO, David Coleman, and our education reporter, Reggie Wade. David, thanks so much for being with us. So I know you've been asked this a bunch of times this week, but for our audience, tell us the thought process here. What brought you to the decision to scrap those SAT subject tests and the essay portion?
Never it has been a better time for us to simplify and reduce the demands on students. So we felt that there were other alternatives that meant that for students to have to again take a subject test after they might have already shown their strength in that subject due to grades, due to maybe an AP program or an IB program or other means, that the subject tests were just another thing to do and getting in the way and causing more anxiety. And so we just got rid of it. We found there were no longer material in admissions. There was a time when they offered opportunity to a lot of students who didn't have it, but with the growth and breadth of advanced placement, that argument no longer holds. The essay is slightly different. Analytic writing remains essential for college and career readiness and a strong future as a citizen. But there are other ways we can examine that in other contexts, that kind of essay writing. And writing and editing skills will remain central to the SAT. It is absolutely essential. So it is only the essay portion that's going away. But a careful examination of the skills of writing and editing remains in the core exam.
Mr. Coleman, Reggie Wade here. I was a bit dismayed. Hi. Not being a natural mathematician. I used to clean up on the essay portion, so I was a little bit sad to see it go. But have you had some guidance from teachers and other educators saying that this was the right move?
Bless you for mourning it, Reggie. Just to say out loud once, Reggie, just for us both, the essay that we retired years ago had no evidence within it. It was a factless essay. It was totally just your opinion. And the new essay that we put in the new SAT had an analysis of evidence. And let me just say, I'm so proud that years ago we saw the danger of writing without fact and insisted on analytic writing. And I just want to again make very clear to everyone, the College Board is utterly devoted to that. And it could not be more important now when misinformation is choking our very republic. So to say it briefly, it is with a sense of loss that we recognize that 50-minute essay on that exam time was stressful for a lot of students, not the best place for them to write, that we offer tons of opportunity within courses in AP as well as the exams in AP and other places in our work in pre-AP and other organizations through IB and other ways offer plenty of opportunities for extended student writing. So it was really a kind of modesty that this wasn't the right time and place, but the work of analytic writing remains essential.
Mr. Coleman, I was looking at some of the things that the College Board is doing, and one of the things is investing in more flexible SAT, as you said, and digitally delivering this test. So what have you done to prepare students and educators alike for this new format?
That's a terrific question. But it's part of why, actually, Reggie, I'm announcing it. We're hinting at it so far in advance of it actually rolling out, is as we give more details, it likely in the April timeframe or late spring timeframe around the more flexible exam, we will be revising and strengthening every free tool of practice that we already invest in. You may very well know, Reggie, that we have invested millions over the past several years in making the best of test prep available free on Khan Academy. And the tools, the free tools to support the work of this exam, I do want to be clear, it's going to still measure those same things in a sense of reading, writing, and mathematics, those core skills most often used in the first year of college. So don't expect sweeping change in what is measured. But we will deepen our investments in tools to make the best of practice free.
David, I'd love to know what the impact of all this is going to be on the test prep industry. It's big business, estimated at over $1 billion. What are you hearing, if anything, from those test prep places? I'm talking about sort of the Kaplans of the world.
Yeah.
And are you working with them in any way in some capacity going forward?
Well, it's a very interesting question. Frankly, the partnership with Khan Academy to make the best of test prep available for free I believe already had enormous impacts on the test prep community that have been underreported. But, if you look at things like Google searches, which overwhelmingly used to aim at paid test prep, Khan Academy and SAT practice by far leads and dwarfs the others now. There's been a lot of movement already. So I do want to say, though, that the best of when we really got rid of a lot of the tricks on the exam that made pure test prep useful, but there is something extremely valuable, which is often in math, you miss something early, and if you don't go back to it, it keeps haunting you. The same can be true of writing, by the way. And so thoughtful tutoring and preparation, where you go back to those earlier, where you slow down and personalize your learning and master that early stuff, is immensely valuable. So I'm trying to distinguish between mere test prep and something much more valuable, which is with a gifted tutor or a gifted adult as a teacher, kind of practicing and relearning things that you may have become less familiar with, and giving you greater velocity and momentum.
Mr. Coleman, I was a former teacher, and I had many students who were brilliant, but they were not great test takers. So do you think that tests like the SAT and the ACT is an accurate reflection of what a student can do?
Reggie, it's such a profound question you asked. Let's talk it through. I think there is always in any performance art of any sort, like someone who performs suddenly at the field of play and doesn't show the brilliance they showed in more private practice, or who sings in front of an audience and is different. I think it's our obligation, Reggie, as teachers, to help students transfer their genius and intelligence to a wide variety of performances. So someone who can gradually get more fluent at underlying math so it is more easy for them, it is an actual strength to be able to do that. What I do believe, though, strictly, is we've got to do everything we can to give students more time. What I mean by that is I think there's a terrible confusion between quick and smart. And in everything we've done with the SAT and will do with the SAT, I will labor to give students more time to take their time and to be deliberate in their work. Because I think one reason for that gap that you described, Reggie, is the sense of being out of breath and a panic that can ensue. And everything, and we will say more about this in April, that we can strive to make it more of your personal best rather than a one-time test, and something that gives more time and space in which you for work, is all things we're very interested in.
David, what about people who see these decisions that you made this week and say, well, it's just a matter of time before the SAT goes away completely? I mean, could you see a day where we don't have the SAT and ACT as standardized tests? And if so, what will colleges do to sort of level the playing field as they compare students for admissions?
Yeah. It's a kind of profound set of questions that I actually don't know much better than you do. I don't know what the future of these things are, but I know what our obligation is, which is to make them as easy and flexible and freely available to all students, particularly low income and underrepresented students. At its finest, something like the SAT is one of the most inexpensive ways and widely available ways for students to distinguish themselves and to show themselves in a school that may not be known, in a rural school where, an admissions officer at a faraway school won't know that the grades are reliable, won't know that student's outstanding. 40% of students have straight A's, self-reported anyway. So what I'm trying to say is there must be some way of distinguishing yourself. And so the question is, how they're all ravaged by inequality. So how can you try to make them as freely available? Even sports take such investment now, or clubs, or all other sorts of things. So how can you find and do your best to make practice free and best make ways of distinguishing yourself as widely available as possible? But there is no way to level a playing field rendered so unequal in this country. That, I'm afraid, is a false prospect.
Yeah, lots of outstanding questions there for our educators. David Coleman, CEO of College Board, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you both for your time and attention, truly.